I didn't bring any water. But I bring you greetings from the Scioto River that flows through Appalachia in Ohio near my home. Bev and I came to Summit in August of 1988. At the time, Beverly was serving the congregation in Pomona, New York, and I had just come off 4-year ministry in Syracuse. We had served over our careers a variety of churches, urban, rural, suburban, small town, very small. In fact, some congregations we served weren't as large as the choir you have here. But when we moved into Summit, it was a unique experience. I remember the first time my youngest son, Stephen, visited us here. We were walking through the downtown and seeing the place, and he was looking at the storefronts and the people walking by, and occasionally someone pushing a kid in a stroller. And he turned to me and he said, "My God, Dad, you've moved to Mayberry." Well, it wasn't really Mayberry. We never really found Sheriff Andy Taylor. But it was a very unique place, and Summit very soon was our home. More importantly, very soon, this congregation became our spiritual home. And when we left, at the end of our ministry, in December of 1998, and moved to Chicago, Summit remained, this congregation remained our spiritual home. And that's why it is such great joy to be with you this morning. A joy that's only lessened by the fact that Beverly cannot be here on this occasion. As I was trying to sort through all of the memories of the 10 years we were here, one memory kept coming back with persistence. Not dramatic, not significant beyond its significance to me. It was a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and Beverly and I were sitting up there in the balcony, waiting for the afternoon music concert to begin. We watched as people filed in, and you could feel the anticipation fill the space. And then the musicians filed onto the chancel and began filling the space with the glorious sound of a brass quintet. As the music began, I noticed a tiny visitor, a small black spider crawling along one of the decorative corners of the column in front of me. Coming to the edge of the column, she paused for a moment as if contemplating the abyss upon which she had stumbled. Now, she could have turned and gone back, but that is not the way of spiders. Suddenly, she drew her legs up under her and cast her tiny body into the air. And on a silken thread too slender for me to see, she lowered herself down into the vast nothingness. Down and down she descended until she touched another surface. And then she climbed back up her silken thread to the decorated corner and cast herself again into empty air and descended an invisible thread, only to climb up again. Slowly, steadily, with the sound of the brass quintet filling the air, the spider repeated her actions, conquering the abyss, building her web across a vast emptiness, creating connections where there had been none before, linking distant places and taming the nothingness, making the empty air her home. Now it occurs to me that in many ways the spider is a metaphor for this congregation. Over many years it has confronted significant challenges, and by conventional and unconventional means, it has constructed a proud and profoundly significant place for itself. You may not know that in 1907, a meeting was convened for the purpose of determining whether it was feasible to establish a Unitarian church in Summit. And as often is the case in such meetings, there was a great deal of discussion, some disagreement, and not very much progress. And then one enterprising soul offered a motion which read, "Resolved that we do not establish a Unitarian church in Summit." Well, after it was seconded, Robert's rules required that a vote be taken. The vote was taken, and the motion was defeated. Then, in an unconventional action, defying Robert's rules of order, the group chose to interpret that negative vote as a positive decision to establish a congregation. And it was through this kind of breech birth that All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church was established in Summit, later to become the Community Church of Summit, and then the Unitarian Church in Summit, and now Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Over all those years, under whatever name, the congregation kept faith with its history and with the tradition of liberal religion. It has fiercely defended the freedom of the pulpit. It has reached out beyond its walls to advocate strongly for racial justice, for economic justice, for ecological justice. It has embraced the hope of peace when our world was cascading to war. It has embraced a vision of a world that sees diversity not as a threat, but as an opportunity. Like the little spider, it has cast itself into the void and struggled to build a web of interconnections and interrelationships strong enough to contain a vision of a world made one and all its people one. It has struggled to be a beacon light in a world often grown dark and threatened. Now, it's my understanding that this year you will act to create a larger, more efficient home to house the dream that is this congregation. That piece of property we lusted after all the years before is now yours, and you can build there another physical expression of the dream that is this congregation. I must say, it takes remarkable courage to build for the future at this moment in history. Our world is tipping toward catastrophe. The Arctic is melting, the seas are rising, the storms are raging, fires roar across Siberia and the Amazon, species are dying, war and famine and plague stalk the human community. Like the little spider, we stand at the edge of an abyss, and we can turn back. We're overcome by an unreasonable hope. We can throw ourselves into an uncertain future. Planning for the future is daunting at best. Failing to live up to that challenge is to surrender the future. You are now the trustees of all the dreaming and hoping, all the courage and faith that built this congregation. In trying times, you're challenged to ensure that its voice will continue to be heard, to light a beacon in a dark and dangerous time. The metaphor of the spider would suggest that with instinct and courage, the abyss may be bridged. Now, I understand not everyone likes spiders. But if that's not your metaphor, let me offer you another. There's an old admonition attributed variously to Martin Luther and to some anonymous Muslim thinker, and it says, "On the eve of the end of the world, plant a tree. Spiders, trees, take your pick. But with courage and the legacy of unconventional thinking, move forward into the future that awaits you and light a beacon for those who will come after. Thank you.